You'll come up in our system as missing for the last year.
Do you want us to call anyone? Let them know you're okay.
Kelly's okay. She's at home. She's home.
You said you'd keep in touch. I thought you were dead.
I hear your sister's back.
She came home herself.
Where was she? Where did the police find her? Is she okay?
Lauren!
Cathy, Brady and Nora-Jane Noone, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for Wildfire. I mean, where do you start with this, I guess, bittersweet piece of art that you guys have put together? Congratulations on it. And I guess let's start with you, Cathy. How did this story come to be?
Well, unlike most films, we started with the casting first, which is very unusual. But I had worked with Nika and Nora-Jane before and was completely blown away with their sheer talent and their desire to kind of really go quite deep with the character. So I was fascinated by what would happen if you put the two of them together in a room, and that's kind of where it all started. I seen them talking, and I was like, okay, we got to make a film together. And it really was a 5-year journey. And
well, thank you for discovering that and making the effort to make the film and harness these two amazing talents. Nora, for you working aside Nika, to now then watching it on the big screen, how does that feel?
It's been such a wild journey from the beginning, like that 5 years ago, and all sorts of intensive workshops and on location and rehearsals and just finding layers and layers of stuff together and going through a roller coaster of of emotions through it all. And it's just really amazing that we've come here, and we're just talking about it with the pandemic and everything. We really didn't know what was going to happen to the movie, because there's been a lot of amazing movies that kind of got lost, and weren't able to have a full release and have that kind of platform. So just feeling very, very grateful that the timing worked out and we're able to share it now.
Cathy, you mentioned you found the two actors and then found the story. There is some truth that you used to base this story on, though, a horrific tale of two sisters on a highway. Yeah,
that's right. So I think really once we had the casting, we had a sense of what the dynamic potentially could be, and we wanted to tell a story with fierce women at the heart of it, and they were going to be complicated women. We knew that much. And then I'd said to both of them, I was like, have you seen this documentary footage called Madness in the Fast Lane, with the Erickson twin sisters walking along the middle of the M6 in England? They throw themselves into oncoming traffic. The reason's not completely understood, but they survive with remarkable fury. And we looked at the footage and it really kind of troubled us. And in a way, we wanted to go on a journey to try to understand what a shared psychosis is, how it comes about. But we didn't want these characters to feel like, thin stereotypes of, what a troubled female character is. And so we really began with research, and that involved speaking to two sisters who had experienced a shared psychosis, speaking to psychiatrists, psychologists, support groups. And it was the truth of that really grounded the characters. So it brought it beyond a sensational moment and into something that felt much more honest and lived in and complicated.
I'm in the north. I'm in the south.
Your face looks familiar. Are you from around here?
Yeah.
I probably know your mommy. What's her name?
Anna Cassidy.
Oh my God, Anna Cassidy. Was she your mommy? Car crash, wasn't it? Had a wall.
Come about you ladies at Rank Age?
My ma told me what you did. Our dad was one of the 26-year bomb killed.
You don't scare me, mister. What are you gonna do, huh? This place is hell, she said. With those murderers free, I'll never be at peace.
And Nora, I guess it's a story that is set on the border, and that's important, and it's more relevant now than ever, I suppose. But the story could have been really anywhere. At the crux of it, the location is wonderful and it's great for Ireland and all that sort of stuff. But it's the relationship, the sibling bond and the family bond that is at the heart of this. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's part of what we discovered, and you know, at the heart of the relationship, as you say, is these two women, these two sisters who only had each other in many ways, you know, and that's where that strong, that intense bond is forged, is the two of them on their own, growing up through turbulent times and all sorts of things. I won't give away about the film, but yeah, but you know, it's that really forms that bond between them, and that's what sees them through, and they come through it all together. So I think ultimately it is a hopeful story.
Why the name Wildfire? Silly question, Cathy, perhaps, but why?
You know what? I think it was because we didn't have a story to begin with. We were using music and imagery as our foundation to sort of to get a language, get a hold of the film. And we had gathered about 200 images together, and you know, just looking at stuff. And I think I was really drawn to this image of a wildfire, and there was something about the energy of that, the fierceness of that, the fact that it's wild and it's you know, it'll just burn. It'll burn whatever's in its path. And there was something about that energy that spoke to the characters, and the legacy of that place, of where they were living, and the danger of that. And, you know, in a way, as the film developed and the story developed, a wildfire became a very significant element within the story. So it kind of found its name before it found the event.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's beautiful. And I guess you've had the premiere now, and I guess Nika's name is all over this film. She's in this film, and her family were there the other night. How was that for you, Nora, and seeing it on the big screen in the company of her family?
It's a tough one, and it has been, you know, since we started putting since Nika passed, but especially in putting the film out there and having to talk about it and try and sum up what that relationship was and what this experience has been for all of us. There's really no words that properly sum it up. To be honest, it's a really tough thing to define, and it was just amazing to feel the love of all her family. You know, people who've known Nika from day one, and for them to get to see everything she put into it. So it felt really lovely yesterday for that reason. And obviously it's extremely hard for them, but it's also a chance to celebrate her.
It's a beautiful love letter to her amazing talent, really. And I guess, Cathy, there's already been some accolades for her in the film. Now the film is officially released. Can you pinpoint the moment when you knew you were on to something here? Because it's hard to perhaps at the time realize that, but I wonder whether you kind of knew that.
I think there were several moments. I think that first conversation where I put the girls together in a room together, and they sat back and we were sharing a pot of tea, followed by a pint of Guinness afterwards. You know,
combination.
I knew I had something then. I didn't quite know what. And when it came to being on set, and it was our second week, and we began filming the dance scene, which is a real a standout moment in the film. I think that was the first time the crew realized the potential. Like, you know, I knew, but it was so fascinating just seeing, like, you know, the guy who was the grip, or, you know, the gaffer, all of a sudden going, oh, whoa. And you could see the electricity change. You could see everyone was like, oh, this is the bar that these two were doing. Okay. And it was fascinating. And I felt so charged, and I felt like, my God, you know, we've done something special. And because we didn't compromise in many ways with how we wanted to make this film. Like, for example, casting the girls first before we had a script. And I was very lucky that I had producers and funders who embraced that. So to get to the other side, and, you know, to have shot the film and to have dug deep with it, like, I really felt like, I think we have something special. I just don't know what it is just yet. And obviously the edit was its own thing, but that day of the dance was very special.
Well, you've made a very special film as a whole. Congratulations on it. Thank you for persisting with it and making this wonderful film and honouring Nika. You've done very well, ladies. Thank you so much. Wildfire, it's a fantastic film. Thank you so much.
She's every rule your mother got. She's away with the fairy.
Just shut up!
Oh, Lauren! Lauren!
I a weirdo?
You're not a weirdo. It's this fucking town.
Open them now!